Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update. Join the only official Telegram channel of RAU'S IAS Study Circle to get relevant material and important updates.
Hello everyone and welcome to Sunday edition of Daily News Simplified, your one-stop solution to detailed analysis of current affairs which are published in the Sunday edition of the Hindu newspaper and the entire week of Indian Express Explained section. And we will discuss those articles which are important for you from the perspective of UPSC examination. Articles which have been taken from 5th of December's Hindu edition and the entire week of Indian Express Explained section have been displayed on your screen. And the timestamping for these articles is already given in the description box. So let us begin with the first article for the day. Well, before starting the discussion, we would like to convey that most of the articles today are from the prelims perspective. Hence, critical analysis would be missing in majority of the article. The first article for today's discussion was published on 5th of December in Delhi edition of Hindu newspaper in Frequently Asked Questions. This article is dealing with the move of the central government to provide hallmarking initiative for the gold jewelry in the country. The context of the article says that Government of India has made hallmarking of the gold jewelry mandatory in the country. And this has started with the partial implementation with over 200 districts have been selected for this program. And it has now been implemented by the Bureau of Indian Standards in phased manner. And that is the reason why it has been implemented only in 200 plus districts as of now and not the entire nation. The basic objective of hallmarking the gold jewelry is to bring the transparency in the jewelry trade, increase the trust among the consumers, and for this regard, government has started with the introduction of hallmark unique identification number in every piece of jewelry. So whether you buy a gold ring, a necklace or anything else, you will get this unique identification number engraved on that piece of jewelry. And as it is now mandatory for every gold jewelry in the country, so in the near future, gold jewelries and pieces of gold jewelry will consist the extra level of security and authenticity. Now, as you can see from this picture, this is the BIS hallmark which is going to be there on every piece of authenticated jewelry. As you can see, the extreme left part of this gold ring is the BIS hallmark which you can see in the left picture. The other component of this hallmarking would include the component of purity, the assessing centers mark that where this jewelry has been assessed so that it could be traced easily. And lastly, it will also consist the identification mark of the particular jeweler from where this jewelry was manufactured. All these points will help to provide better authentication to each and every gold jewelry in the country. And because of this, the hallmarking will bring new era of consumerism in the gold market. Now the point is, what is hallmark unique identification or what is HUID? It is a 6-digit alphanumerical code. Alphanumerical means it will have some alphabets and it will have some numbers. It will remain unique for every jewelry piece. So whether you buy one ring or whether you buy 5 or 10 gold ring, each and every ring will have its own unique HUID number. It will be stamped at the assessing and the hallmarking centers which are categorized and which are regulated by the Bureau of Indian Standards. As you can see in this image, the assessing center will also have their marking on this gold jewelry in order to authenticate where this jewelry was hallmarked. It is mandatory as per the government order to hallmark all the jewelry of 14, 18 and 22 karat gold. Above this and below this will not be subjected to mandatory hallmarking. It will remain optional for the consumers. Each hallmark on a piece of jewelry will include 3 different symbols. The first one is the BIS hallmark, as you have already seen that triangle. The second one indicates the purity. As you can see here, the purity is 22 karat. And lastly, the third one would be the HUID symbol that we have already discussed. Now, why do we need such kind of authentication? Well, it will give a distinct identity to each piece of jewelry. So even if there is a theft of jewelry, a consumer who has already registered an FIR with the police station, and if police by chance find out the jewelry which was stolen, so a person through his own identity and the consumer bill can produce that bill to the police and get that jewelry back again. Why? Because it is a unique piece of jewelry, and that uniqueness remains distinct for each and every part of jewelry under this identification process. It will enable the traceability, again the same thing. It will provide credibility of hallmarking. It will help address the complaint against the adulteration by different sellers in the market. It will help check the malpractices by the members of the trade which are involved in black marketing of gold jewelry. It is a secure system, hence poses no risk to data privacy or the security. Because once you buy the jewelry with HUID identification, you will have that security that this particular piece of jewelry belongs to you. And as this has become a part of organized data collection, there is a system of security. And once this security brings into the centralized system, that jewelry or piece of jewelry will remain secure with you. It will also bridge out the trust deficit which is currently there between consumers and the sellers in the gold jewelry market. However, despite this, according to the many sellers in the market, especially the jewelers, the process is cumbersome because each and every piece of jewelry is not large in size. So engraving the small or tiny pieces will become a matter of concern. And this will also increase the cost to the consumers because once a jewelry is sent for BIS hallmarking, it will include the transportation cost, it will include the service charges, and also the hallmarking or the engraving charges. So this entire process of authentication will raise the cost of each jewelry which is being bought by the consumer. Now with this discussion in place, I will leave you with this practice MCQ for the prelim examination, as this topic is important from the perspective of prelims examination in the section of current affairs. And with this discussion in place, now let us move to the next article for the day. This article was published on 5th December in the Hindu newspaper, Sunday edition, Frequently Asked Questions. This article is based on the debate on the dam safety bill and its basic details. The context of the article says that dam safety bill has remained futile till now, because most of the time when this bill was introduced in the parliament to be passed, it has remained a matter of controversy. And because of this, we could not find a single solution to ensure the dam safety in the country. The relevance of this article is too high. Dam safety, water resources could be asked in GS paper 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you are wondering how is it possible? Well, take for example, let's say in GS paper 4 a case study is asked in which they give you an incident in which there was a breaking down of a dam and which caused a flood in your area. So that kind of situations could be arised in each and every paper as far as dam safety and water resources is concerned. That is the reason why this is a very important topic to be discussed. The content for this discussion would include why we require a dam safety bill in the country, the current status of dam safety in the country, Article 252 in this regard, provisions of this important dam safety bill, and why there is a contention between state and the center on this bill. Lastly, we will also look into one of the possible way forward in this regard. Now, when we are asked why do we require dam safety in the country, the answer to this is that India holds third position as far as number of large dams is concerned. India has 5,745 dams which are in operation. Out of this, 67 dams were built prior to the 20th century. and about 1,000 dams were built in the first 70 years, that is between 1901 to 1970. In the past, we already had 62 dam failures which has caused damage to life and property. The latest one being in the Kadapa district of Andhra Pradesh, where 20 people lost their life. And because of all these reasons, dam safety becomes a prime concern for the authorities. As of now, there is an organization with the name Central Dam Safety Organization, and it functions as an apex body in order to provide dam safety to all the states. But this organization is not functioning under any particular law because there is no specific law at center or at a state level which maintains the dam safety at a national level. In 1986, a panel was created and that panel recommended a new legislation under the central government. Why center? The reason being that we require a sort of uniformity as far as dam safety in the country is concerned. Let's say we allow all the state to make a dam safety bill. Then what about the dams which are interstate? Or dams which are in state A but belongs to state B? Or what about the water sharing? Because of all these concerns, Centre has decided to legislate a separate act which will provide the uniformity and will reduce interstate disputes. In 2007, Andhra Pradesh and West Bengal has passed a resolution which empowers the parliament to produce a law on dam safety under Article 252. And since 2010, different versions of the bill have been introduced time and again, but all have remained futile because none of them have been passed by now. As we were talking about Article 252, well, let us go through this article also. It provides powers to the parliament to legislate for two or more states by consent and adoption of such legislation by any other state based on the constitutional provisions. As you can see in this example, in 2007, Andhra Pradesh, that is first state, and West Bengal, that is second state. So two or more states provided a consent to the parliament to create a law in this regard, and that is the reason central government has came forward to bring a uniform law for all the dam safety in the country. But as far as amendment or repealing of this act is concerned, no consent from the state is required in that matter. As far as the current status of the bill is concerned, well, the bill covers all the dams which are at the height of over 15 meter. Some of the dams at the height between 10 to 15 could also be covered. The point is, higher the height means higher the storage capacity of a particular dam. And higher the storage capacity means higher the possibility of damage that would occur in the long-term period on the holding ability of a dam. The bill also seeks to create two national agencies, the first one being the National Committee on Dam Safety, which will make policies and will recommend necessary regulations. Then we have the National Dam Safety Authority, which is the implementing authority which will implement all the policies created by the first authority. The bill also talks about the state level organizations such as State Dam Safety Organization and State Committee on Dam Safety. The most controversial point is that the responsibility to maintain, construct, operate and supervise dam will lie on the dam owners. Now the point is, some of the dams belong to state A but are situated in state B. And because of this important hindrance, dam ownership and its maintenance becomes a different task. And this creates interstate dispute as far as dam safety is concerned. Well, why this bill has become a matter of concern? Because it encourages the sovereignty of the state to manage their own dams. Because once this kind of bill is passed in the parliament, it will provide higher authority to the central government over and above the state government, and that is a fear that centre would encroach into the managing territory of the state legislation. Some experts argue that as water is a state subject, then states should be allowed to create their own legislation. But as we have discussed, multiple legislation will go against the spirit of cooperative federalism. And lastly, the bill is silent on the payment of compensation to the people who will be affected by the dam projects. There is a dam, or if there is a damage or flood because of the breaking down of dam. As far as the second concern is concerned, as well as the first concern is there, 2011 Parliamentary Standing Committee report on water resources has said that under the entry 56 of the Union list, Centre can frame a legislation in the category of public interest. And if dam safety is under the public interest, Centre can create such kind of laws. Entry 17 of the state list, which deals with water, does not provide any bar or restriction to the union government to frame law on the subject. As you must have studied in the Indian polity, that when there is a controversy between union list, state list and the concurrent list. So, between a controversy of union list and the state list, union list will always prevail. When there is a controversy between union list and the concurrent list will prevail. And when there is a controversy between union list and the concurrent list will prevail. So it is more like this: union list, concurrent list and the state list. So this is the entirety of the state list and the legislating power of Centre and the state. One of the private research agency, PRS, has said that it is unclear whether the parliament would have the jurisdiction to frame a law for dams on river where the river and its valley are entirely within the state. Now take for example, there is a river with the name Banas. This river lies in the state of Rajasthan, and this river is a seasonal river. And government of Rajasthan has created number of dams, small and large, on this river. But the point is, if such kind of legislations are passed on the dam safety, what will happen to these kind of rivers and these kind of dams which are entirely lying in a particular state and not shared by different states? Now we come to the way forward. So what Centre should do? They should bring all states under a single platform, talk to them and meet all their fears and frame rules suitable for a common legislation. The best example for cooperative federalism in this case is the GST Council, where states and centre get due representation and they have power to speak out their concern and resolve it as soon as possible. With this discussion in place, let us now move to the next article for the day. This article was published on 5th of December in Delhi edition of Hindu newspaper in Frequently Asked Questions. Well, the article talks about that when a person can be granted the statutory bail. Recently, the social activist and a lawyer, Sudha Bharadwaj, was given a bail, and this was the statutory bail, but her co-accused was denied on the same. Now, from the perspective of UPSC, we are not concerned about who Sudha Bharadwaj is, what she did. We are not even concerned about the controversies behind this bail or the cases which were involved. What we are concerned from the perspective of UPSC, and that too from the prelim examination, is the provision of statutory bail. Now this year in prelim examination 2021, UPSC has already asked question related to the Indian Penal Code and some of its provisions. And that is the basic concern behind taking this article for today's discussion. Well, we need to understand first of all what is a bail. Well, bail in law or in legal language means the procurement of release from prison of a person awaiting trial or an appeal. I believe most of you will not understand this directly, so let me simplify this for you. Let's say there is a person A and he has been waiting on trial, or he has been arrested by the police but he has made an appeal to the court. And after that appeal, this person was released from the prison only after a kind of a contract. Okay, this is not the exact word used, but I am just simplifying this for you. So Mr. A has signed a contract with the legal court, and this contract is based on a deposit of security to ensure that he will be submitted back, that he will come back, or he or she will come back to the prison after a point of time for the further investigation of the case. Now, this security could be a monetary value, and this monetary value is nothing but what is known as bail. So somebody will provide a deposit of security on the pretext of releasing Mr. A from the court, and this entire process is known as bail. So this bail is nothing but a kind of bond which is signed between the legal authorities and the person who is going to take the bail. So this could be a cash, this could be a paper giving the title to a property. This could be even a private person. So Mr. B has come in order to take a bail of Mr. A. And this could also be a bondsman or a company. So any of these entities can come to provide bail to Mr. A, and Mr. A will get released for a period of time. If Mr. A does not return on the stipulated time, and return here means if he does not surrender back himself, that will be called as forfeiture of the security, and this will cause the further deterioration in the strength of Mr. A's case. Now, as far as mandatory bail is concerned, as you can see, it is also known as statutory bail. Statutory bail here simply means by law. So Indian Penal Code has provided this authority to the judicial magistrate to provide bail. Now, there are two kinds of custodies. First is the police custody, which is for 15 days. And the second is judicial custody, which may be extended up to 90 days or 60 days. And both of these are defined under section 167 of CRPC. A judicial custody for 90 days is subjected to crimes like punishment for death, life imprisonment, or imprisonment up to 10 years. The custody for 60 days could be provided if the investigation is not being completed by the police. So these two are the criteria for getting the judicial custody for extended period. So this is the duration in which statutory bail can be applied in order to get a person released from the jail. The provision of 60 days or 90 days of judicial custody is only limited to the Indian Penal Code. There are certain provisions, there are certain acts in the country which can extend this judicial custody beyond 90 days. This includes provisions like Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, which can extend the judicial custody up to 180 days. And if the person is found with the commercial quantity, let's say 100 kg of drugs, which is too high, so this custody could even be extended to 1 year. If we are talking about Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, which is one of the most controversial act of the country, the custody can be provided or can be extended beyond 90 days once the court is satisfied on the report of the public prosecutor. So basically, after this discussion, we come to a conclusion that what is a statutory bail, what is a bail actually, when this bail is provided, and when this bail can be denied and custody could be extended of a person. Let us now move to the next article for the day. The next article for today's discussion was published in the Indian Express Explained section on December 9. This article talks about the unfortunate incident which took place where India lost its Chief of Defence Staff Bipin Rawat. And in this incident, a helicopter was crashed in the hilly areas of Tamil Nadu. Well, from the perspective of prelim examination, it is not for us to go into the details of why this accident took place. It will never be asked in any sort of examination for any reason. As far as defense is concerned, well, UPSC can ask questions on important deals, agreements, and defense relations between different countries. And in the prelim examination, they can also ask questions related to the important defense deals and important defense equipments. In 2018, they have already asked question on the missile defense system THAAD, which is from United States. And as this unfortunate incident has taken place in India, we should also look into the relevance of this helicopter which was crashed. The name of the helicopter is Mi-17 version 5. It is the latest version of Russian-made military transport helicopter. So first of all, it is from Russia. So this is the first pointer. The second pointer is that it is a transport helicopter and not the attack helicopter like Apache. This helicopter belongs to a family of helicopters from military side which is known as Mi-18/17 category. It has a digital flight data recorder as well as a cockpit voice recorder on board to monitor the flight parameters. And this is the prime evidence through which an investigation could be started in this plane crash. And this is also one of the reasons why high dignitaries and VVIPs are provided the services of these kind of expensive helicopters. This helicopter has an ability to land in unprepared site, even at night, in adverse weather conditions like heavy rainfall, snowfall and other conditions. And it can even land through the single engine configuration in the case of emergency. And that is why the entire nation is thinking that despite having so many top-notch quality, why this accident took place. As far as this helicopter is concerned, well, it can fly at a speed of 250 kilometers per hour, cruise speed at 230. It can serve the ceiling of 6,000 meters. That is, it can be deployed even in the Jammu and Kashmir region. It can take the maximum weight of 13 ton with maximum payload of 4 ton. The point is that all these points are just to make you understand that it was not a matter of poor quality of equipment, but it was some other matter which took place and that led to this accident. So as far as UPSC is concerned, UPSC is not going to ask you any question related to the controversies which were there in the news. What they can ask is this. So this is the practice question which is attached to this article. So read this question carefully and answer in the comment box. This seems to be a very easy question, but that should be part of your preparation also. Let us now move to the next article for the day. This discussion is based on an article which was published in the Indian Express Explained section yesterday, that is 11th of December. The article was talking about a protest which was going on in the city of Gwadar, and the city is part of Balochistan. Hence, it becomes important for us to discuss this from the perspective of map-based question in the prelim examination of UPSC. So before going through the map, let us go through the background of this topic. Since the second week of November, there has been a continuous protest in the Gwadar region of Balochistan, which is part of the west and southwest part of Pakistan. And this protest has been conducted against the building up of China-Pakistan economic corridor. Now the protest is not against China or against Pakistan, but it is against the policies which has led to the exclusion of the local people who were living around this area, because this project has snatched their livelihood, and their livelihood in the future has been endangered now. Women has also become part of this protest now, because most of the time we do not find Pakistani women to be protesting against anything in the country. And coming of women in this protest has shown the kind of unrest which is going on in the local people of Gwadar in Balochistan. As far as this map is concerned, well, the shaded region in red color is the area of Balochistan. It is one of the province of Pakistan, and it is, as you can see, in the western part and southwestern part of Pakistan. It is the largest province of Pakistan. Balochistan has a bordering area with Iran and Afghanistan. And that is one of the reasons why India has a keen interest in Balochistan. Even prior to the independence of India and the partition of India into Pakistan and India, people from Balochistan were eager to join India as their nation. But as you can see, Sindh and Punjab were in between India and Balochistan. This process could not been taken place. And the second reason was that the political leaders on Indian side were not anxious enough to take the people of Balochistan on a serious note. If you go through this area in further detail, as you can see in this map, this place is known as Quetta. This is the capital city of Balochistan province of Pakistan, and in this map you can see this is the area where Quetta is situated. Quetta is also known for regular insurgent outbreak. As Quetta is situated far from the Gwadar port, which is a coastal city in the southern part of Pakistan, there is a difference of ideology which is shared between the people of Quetta and the people of Gwadar. The red line which is connecting the Quetta and Gwadar is also part of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. As you can see from this map, Gwadar is located in the southwestern part of Pakistan, and it is more closer to the Chabahar port, which is endorsed by India, than what it is to the Karachi, the port of Pakistan. And that is one of the reasons why Chabahar and Gwadar are seen as a counter diplomacy points between India and Pakistan, where China is becoming a new major partner. If we go through the entire China-Pakistan economic corridor, you will find that some part of this economic corridor which has already been commissioned is passing through the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, or also known as Azad Kashmir. The other part of this corridor up to Islamabad has already been commissioned and has been completed. But when it comes to the later part of this corridor up to the Balochistan, it has been delayed due to these regular protests by the people of Balochistan. This entire economic corridor ends at Gwadar, and the other part of this corridor also ends at Karachi. With this discussion in place, let us now move to the next article for the day. Now we come to the question of the day. So this is the question of the day on your right hand side. So read this question carefully and answer in the comment box. With this, now we come to the end of today's Daily News Simplified. Thank you.